Ring of Honor, they are doing something that we have actually spoken about many times over the past 2 years. They are going to take Final Battle on Friday, December 15th, and it will air exclusively for Honor Club members. So those that are subscribing to Honor Club will get the pay-per-view with their subscription and no upcost for the pay-per-view. So previously, their pay-per-views had been airing outside of Honor Club for $39.95. And looking at last year's Final Battle, they did about 25,000 buys. So that does give you like a sense of like what their pay-per-view numbers, what the ballpark is for this one. I don't know what the long-term play is with Honor Club, but this is definitely an indication of them wanting to get a shot in the arm for Honor Club. And I think this rewards your most like diehard fans that have been subscribing to this service, that here is a bone we are throwing you with a Final Battle.
Right. Yeah. I mean, beyond that, of course, it's the biggest thing they can do to encourage new signups to hopefully create other long-term fans of Ring of Honor and Honor Club in specific. I think it's a great move, honestly. Yeah, first of all, would you have expected them to do a similar amount of buys for this Final Battle as last year's, more or less?
It's hard because we don't know what the card is, and this one could potentially be a much bigger show based on who the champions are now. That I would think that you could clear 25,000 buys. I didn't look up what they did the last time in this past July, but I mean, this is kind of in the range of what they've been in, like 25 to 45 during this Tony Khan era.
Right. So if they could do the 25,000 buys, I mean, you may potentially be looking at 25,000. You would hope even more subscriptions that might stick around for longer than just a month, maybe 2 months. In either case, I think the entry point, what is it, $10?
Yes.
Yeah, the entry point to a Ring of Honor show, I think at $10 is far more appealing and far more attractive, than trying to sell people this essentially like B brand, for the same price that you've been selling your AEW pay-per-views. It'll encourage a lot more people to sample it and potentially stick around, month to month. So I like it a lot. It seems to be, to me, like one of the reasons why for a long time people were subscribing to the WWE Network. I mean, outside of the pay-per-views, which I think are probably the biggest draw, but having NXT week to week and then even having NXT the takeovers.
It wasn't the tape libraries like that's, yeah. And that's what Honor Club can't rely on either. And let's remember, like 25,000 buys, I would imagine anyone spending $10 a month on Honor Club are probably buying that pay-per-view. So you have to take that into account, that there was probably a lot of overlap between existing subscribers and that 25,000 number. But I think the other key is, people will sign up for this. They'll get it. They'll have access to Honor Club for a month. What are you going to do to keep them? Because I don't think the weekly television is enough, or I think it'd be very small that people are finally going to sign up and now they're going to become regular weekly viewers. And I don't know what that hook is to keep people, but that should be the hope here, is that you want to keep these subscribers.
Sure. It's hard to say whether or not it'll be small. I mean, having an MJF featured maybe week to week, that might be enough for a lot of people. Some people might just be too lazy to cancel, in between ROH pay-per-views, and might just decide to keep it for the 3 months that, they would have paid for a singular pay-per-view anyway. And I'm sure they're thinking about all of this when it comes to this move.